Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to talk about saving money.
Always ready for that.
I feel like it's something we're all thinking about more these days.
Especially with how,
Yeah.
prices are going up.
Exactly, like everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah.
So today we're doing a deep dive on saving money, even on a tight budget.
Sounds good.
We actually published an article about this last year on Crypto Asset News
Oh, right. Yeah.
with some practical tips. And what I found really interesting about this article is it's not just about cut back on your lattes and all that.
Yeah.
It's also about your mindset when it comes to saving.
Interesting.
So there are 13 tips in this article. And it's funny, the first one is about setting concrete savings goals.
Okay.
And it seems so obvious. But I feel like a lot of people maybe skip over that part.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that, I think.
Like, you need to know what you're saving for,
Absolutely.
right? Like,
Yeah.
what's the goal? Are you saving for a down payment on a house?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saving for a vacation? Or are you just saving to have
Yeah, just in case.
an emergency fund? Exactly.
Yes.
Just something so that, if something comes up,
Yeah, you're not freaking out.
you're not totally thrown off.
Right.
And I like how the article talks about breaking down your goals.
Okay.
So instead of being like, I want to save $10,000,
Yeah, which can feel impossible.
which feels impossible, break it down.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I'm going to save X amount per month.
Right. Exactly.
And then it feels much more achievable. And then they get into the 50-30-20 budget, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty common advice.
But they actually suggest tweaking it a little,
Okay. Interesting.
depending on your own personal circumstances.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you live in New York City, for example,
Yeah, your rent's going to be a lot more.
your rent's going to be more than 50% of your income, probably.
Right. Exactly.
So you might have to adjust the percentages a little.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing they talk about, which I think is really important, is tracking your spending.
Yes.
Like really knowing
It's so key.
where your money's going.
Yeah. Awareness is huge.
Not just like glancing at your bank account,
Right.
but really writing it down.
Yeah. Like a budget, old school.
Yeah. Or like a spreadsheet or whatever works for you. Because I feel like we all do that thing where it's like,
Where did my money go?
yeah, at the end of the month, it's like, wait,
Every time.
how did I spend this much?
Yep.
And then they get into the classic needs versus wants.
Right. Which is always a tough one.
Which is so hard.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the moment, everything feels like a need.
It's so true.
But it's like, is it really a need?
Oh, it's exactly.
Like, do I need to order takeout tonight? Or
Yeah. Could you make something?
could I make something?
Right. Exactly.
Which I'm terrible at cooking. So that's always a struggle for me.
I hear you.
But it's true. Like, those little things add up.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I realized I was spending way too much money on takeout coffee.
Yeah. It's so easy to do.
Every day.
It sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Little things make a big difference.
they do. They do.
Yeah.
Like, they use the example of, is it a need to order takeout every night?
Yeah.
Or is it a need to go out to eat all the time? Or could you
Right. Could you make
make something at home?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one where I'm always like, well, I'm tired.
It's so easy to justify.
It's so easy to justify.
Yeah.
But then you end up spending
Way more money.
so much more money.
And it's not always healthier.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not always as healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing they talk about is cutting down on those recurring subscription costs,
Oh, yeah. Those'll get you.
which I'm so bad at that.
Me too.
Because it's like you sign up for something
And then you forget about it.
and then you totally forget about it. And you're like,
Oh, I'm paying for that.
I haven't used this in 6 months.
Exactly.
And it's only, $10 a month, but it adds up.
It adds up.
So they suggest going through and really looking at what you're actually using.
yeah, like a subscription audit.
Yeah. And just getting rid of the ones that you don't.
Exactly. Be ruthless.
To be ruthless. Yeah.
It's your money.
It's your money. Okay. This next one I love, and it's so simple, but it's setting up automatic savings transfers.
Oh, that's a good one.
So basically decide on an amount that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And every month just have it automatically transfer
Automatically. Yep.
from your checking to your savings.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Exactly.
Yeah, I like that one.
Because then you don't even have to think about it.
You don't have to think about it. You don't have to
It's already gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about credit cards.
Ooh, a big one.
This is always a tricky one because I think they can be a useful tool,
Yeah, I think so too.
but they can also be really dangerous
Oh, absolutely.
if you're not careful.
Very easy to overspend.
They're very easy to overspend, and then you get into that cycle of
Debt.
Debt.
Yes.
So what they suggest in the article is basically pretend that your credit card is a debit card.
Okay.
So only spend what you have.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, only spend what you know you can pay off
Exactly.
at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, those interest rates will get you.
They will sneak up on you.
They really will.
Yep.
Okay, this one's a little bit more extreme, but they talk about potentially downsizing or looking into shared living arrangements.
Okay. If your rent is a huge chunk of your budget,
Right.
which for a lot of people it is,
Yeah, especially depending on where you live.
especially depending on where you live.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, it's not for everyone, obviously,
Definitely not.
but it's something to consider.
Right. If you're really trying to,
If you need to save money.
yeah, if you need to save money quickly, that could be an option.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a fun one. They call it milking your hobbies.
Milking your hobbies.
I know, I love it.
What does that mean?
So basically, it's finding ways to make money from your hobbies.
Oh.
So let's say you're really into photography.
Mm-hmm.
Could you sell your photos online
Right. Or do like,
or do wedding photography on the side?
yeah, exactly.
Or if you're really into knitting, could you sell your stuff on Etsy?
Right. Right.
So it's basically taking something you enjoy
Turning it into a side hustle.
and finding a way to make money from it,
I like that.
which I think is a cool idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's see. What else did they talk about? Oh, they talked about debt, which is obviously a big one.
Yeah, big scary one.
And their whole thing is like the best way to get out of debt is to not get into debt in the first place,
It's so true.
which is easier said than done, I know.
It is, yeah.
But it's really about like being mindful of your spending
Absolutely.
and not living above your means.
And thinking long term.
Exactly.
Yeah, not just instant gratification.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the last one they talk about is something they call spending freeze day.
Spending freeze day. What is that?
I know, it sounds intriguing, right? Like,
Yeah.
So basically you pick one day a week
Okay.
and you don't spend any money
At all.
at all.
Wow. Okay.
So no eating out, no online shopping.
like a total spending detox.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
So it forces you to be really mindful
Right.
of your spending habits.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it makes you realize, like, what are your triggers?
Right.
What are those things that make you want to spend money?
Yeah, like those impulse purchases.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And it's only one day a week.
Right. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I thought that was kind of a fun one to end on.
Yeah, I like that one. I might try that.
I think I'm going to try it too,
Yeah.
because I feel like it would be really eye-opening
Yeah, for sure.
just to see, like, where does my money actually go?
Right. And where are those areas where you can cut back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without even really missing it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But how does that work if you have to, like, get groceries or something?
Yeah, you got to plan ahead, right? Like they suggest maybe doing it on a Wednesday.
Okay.
So you do your grocery shopping, before then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not about like completely depriving yourself.
right.
It's more about
Yeah.
being mindful and aware.
Yeah, like being intentional about it.
Exactly. Because I feel like we spend so much mindlessly.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
how many times have I bought something on Amazon and been like,
Do I need this?
why did I buy this?
Exactly.
Like 2 days later, it shows up and I'm like, I don't even remember ordering this.
Happens to the best of us.
Okay, so those are the 13 tips. And honestly, there's some really good stuff in there.
Yeah, there's some good takeaways for sure.
And I love how it's not just like
Right.
clip coupons and never buy coffee again.
Right. It's more nuanced than that.
It's more about like understanding your habits.
Yes. And your relationship with money.
Exactly. So we would love to hear from you guys.
Yes.
What are your go-to tips for saving money, even on a tight budget?
Yeah. What works for you?
Let us know. You can always tweet us.
Hit us up on social media.
Exactly.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, because everyone's different.
Exactly.
So what works for one person might not work for another.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is to just be having these conversations.
Absolutely. Like being open about money.
Yeah. And not be afraid to talk about it,
Yeah, I think that's huge.
because it's something that affects all of us.
It does every single day.
So to wrap up this deep dive, let's leave everyone with a thought.
Okay, I like it.
What if we stopped thinking about saving as like this
No.
restrictive thing?
Like you're depriving yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You-
And instead thought about it as a way to like
Yeah.
invest in your future self.
Oh, I love that.
Right. So like,
It's a good way to reframe it.
it's not about what you're not doing. It's about what you're allowing yourself to do.
Exactly. Like you're giving yourself future opportunities.
Exactly. You're giving yourself freedom.
Freedom. Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yes. So think about it that way.
I love that.
It's not about deprivation. It's about empowerment.
Empowerment, yes.
Awesome. Well, on that note, thank you so much for listening to this deep dive.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us.
And we will catch you next time.
See you later.